All right, so welcome to another review. This time around, I am reviewing Zach Heyde's brand new online class, Orchestral Mockup Fundamentals. Now, Zach is a professional media composer and YouTuber who has gone on to do wonderful projects with companies like Marvel, Disney, Netflix, and more. On his website, Zach claims that this website will teach you everything that you need to know to make your MIDI arrangements more realistic and more professional sounding. And at first glance, he definitely covers more than enough material to back up this claim. The class covers everything from basic terminology and setups to MIDI programming and production. And he arranges all of the material into just 8 simple modules. Module number 1 is just a simple introduction to the course that explains the material and resources that are available to the students. This includes a downloadable course guide and a private Discord server where you can connect with other students and get feedback on your work. Module number 2 tackles the basics, focusing on introducing you to the basic terminology, tools, and gear that are needed to create a realistic MIDI performance. Module number 3 then covers an in-depth process for creating useful orchestral templates in your DAW. And to be honest, I wasn't really expecting the course to cover this topic, but I was really glad that it did. It's super useful and inspiring to learn Zach's process for setting up orchestral sound libraries in a way that helps maximize their efficiency and quality of their sound. Module 4 is where we finally start to learn the topics that most people probably want to learn when they sign up for a class like this. Mainly, you'll learn about MIDI continuous controllers and other programming tools for getting realistic performances out of your sound libraries. Module number 5 then continues the topic of MIDI programming by applying all of the new tools that you learned in the previous module to specific strategies for programming strings, woodwinds, and brass instruments. Then Module 6 switches topics again to discuss production workflow and tackle specific strategies for managing things like volume balancing, panning, reverb, microphone settings, and more to help create a realistic mix that makes the most out of your MIDI programming. Then finally, Modules 7 and 8 include bonus content and resources to help further your education. So now let's get started with the review by discussing the things that I really liked about this class. Number 1 is that Zach really goes above and beyond covering everything that's even remotely related to making a realistic performance with your MIDI mockup. More than just covering things like MIDI CCs and just programming tips, he takes the time to dive really deep into things like your templates and your mix setups and your workflow, and a whole host of different things to help set you up for success. He covers everything from tracking your routing and plugins to performance techniques and how they differ for each different section of the orchestra. He actually included a lot of things that I wasn't really expecting in a class that's not about mixing. But he did it in a way that felt natural and intuitive so that nothing felt like it was out of place when I was studying. Which brings me to pro number 2, which is that the class flows very nicely. Zach does a really good job of cutting through a lot of the fluff that you can find in textbooks on the same topic. He wastes no time in cutting directly to the core of what's important to know and master when you're trying to get realistic performances and professional sounds out of your arrangements. And as he teaches the material, he organizes it in a way that helps inform a really nice kind of workflow and a step-by-step process that you can follow to apply everything you're learning when you go back to work on your own projects. And then pro number 3 is that the Discord channel that comes with the class is very active. Anytime you make a post or share your work, you can expect a speedy response from either Zach himself or a fellow student. And it's just really cool to interact with other composers who are geeking out and studying the same material you are. Now, there are tons of more positive things that I could say about this class, but for the sake of brevity, and because this is a review, it's important that we move on and start talking about some of the areas where the class could be improved. And number 1 on my list is that I think several of the videos in the class could benefit from being divided into shorter, more manageable chunks. For example, in module number 3, there's an hour-long video that teaches you how to make an efficient orchestral template in your DAW, which is great. The information is awesome. But if you've got a busy schedule, or if you're someone like me who has severe ADHD, a long video like that can be a bit tricky to get through. I know that there were multiple moments while I was watching it that I found myself zoning out and having to rewind to rewatch and make sure I didn't miss anything. I still got through everything, but I think it could be improved by, instead of tackling the entire topic of template design in one video, maybe break it up into smaller videos, each one tackling a different step or topic along that process. For example, a video about organizing your sound libraries, a video about routing each track to your reverb plugins, a video dedicated to learning how to pan properly, etc., etc. If this were implemented, I think it could help make certain parts of the class a lot more manageable for people with super busy schedules or severe ADHD who may not find it as easy to fit an hour-long video into their schedule. And my second issue is something that has to be discussed for almost every review, and that is the price. At $200, this class runs roughly the same price as a decent sound library or some high-end plugins. And it should be noted that there are several high-quality textbooks that you can get for significantly cheaper that teach mostly the same material. However, that being said, if you have the budget for this, I think the price is well worth it. Zach brings a ton of experience and professionalism to this class, and he also makes himself available on Discord to answer any questions you have while studying the material. And as far as quality online classes go, this price is definitely on the more budget-friendly side of the spectrum, especially when compared to classes with companies like Evident, Master the Score, and Berklee Online. So, all in all, I think this class is one of the best resources you'll find for learning how to make realistic MIDI mockups and how to make the most out of your sound libraries. It's not a class for complete beginners, and I would not recommend the class for you if you haven't at least taken the time to become familiar with the sound libraries you currently own and have taken the time to learn basics about orchestration and arranging. But if you're looking to just take that next step and make your arrangements sound more professional and realistic, then I can't recommend the class enough. So with that, we have reached the end of another video. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, please leave a comment below and let me know what classes, books, etc. you would like to see me review next. Until next time, keep studying, keep working hard, and keep writing new music, my friends. I will see you in the next video.